Welcome to Boomer Guitar Sessions. Today is the practice shed. This is the first in hopefully a long series for the advancing guitar player, the advanced guitar player. What we're going to do is we're going to come up with some practice routines. Like each one's going to be a different kind of routine, addressing a different kind of thing that needs to be gotten down, like a big thread of stuff we can work on. Today we're going to address the dominant 7th chord. All right. Big deep dive, unlike anything we've ever done before here on Boomer Guitar Sessions. We talk about it a lot because it is the third tonality that everybody gets, I guess it gets overlooked. We all use it, but we don't want to, we want to make believe it doesn't exist. So we always talk about, we have major keys, we have minor keys, but we also have the dominant keys, okay? Things that are shaped over the dominant 7th, but also modal things. Like when I say modal things, like modal progressions that, like, say if we're in the key of G, G to F, or G to D minor, or anything that includes some sort of flat 7 in it. So anyway, so today we're talking about all our options and how to practice all our options of playing over a dominant 7th chord in a jam situation and routining it, making that into a routine that we can work on for the next couple months and fine tune. So the first thing you need to know that everybody talks about is, okay, so we have the dominant 7th chord. Okay, the mother scale for all things dominant. Now this is a little, some people disagree, or they don't want to talk in terms of modes. I know Joe Pass says he never talks about modes, but he uses them. Lots of people say we're not going to talk about modes, like the Mixolydian, whatever. I don't want to talk about, but you use it. Okay, so we're gonna go. Mixolydian scale is the mother key, scale of all things dominant. Okay. Some people call it the dominant scale, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. It is a major scale with a flat 7 interval. So the mother scale is going to be something like this. That is your Mixolydian scale. So that's a basic place to start. So mother scale, Mixolydian. So if I had and then within the Mixolydian, what we can do is the root 3, 5, and flat 7 arpeggio. This is the most obvious thing we can do. All right. Now, there's some ways around this. We can play the Mixolydian scale. Things that we can do with a Mixolydian scale. So this would be a Mixolydian scale. But we don't have to be fully in. Here's a way that we can backdoor into the Mixolydian scale. You remember your major pentatonic scales we've talked about in this. Scale number 2, we're going to say major pentatonic. Okay, so that's going to sound like this. Put that little blue note in there. That note, if you include that flat 7 in there like that, into the major pentatonic, that's a Mixolydian sound. All right, so Mixolydian, the G7 arpeggio, major pentatonic, which I'm getting ahead of myself, but with the flat 7, that makes a Mixolydian sound as well. Next, G major triads. Find your major triads all over the place. Okay, and then play lines around that. I like that little sus4 sound. And then start adding the blue notes. Now, when I say blue note, a blue note is a note we can add to a chord, a scale. So if I have my G major scale, these are the intervals that you would add to that in order to make it sound bluesy, funky, greasy, and all the cool sounds. So that flat 3 is a blue note. Now, the flat 3 doesn't replace the 3, you play it along with the 3. Okay? That flat 5, that's another blue note. We can either go down or we can go up. And then the flat 7 is a major sound within the dominant 7th chord. Okay, so something like I like throwing in that 6 interval. Major flat 7. All right, getting ahead of myself again. So triads all over the place. Then find where those... Find out where those flat 3s are and those flat 7s are. All right. Minor pentatonic. Back in the day, that's all we ever did. We threw minor pentatonic over everything. So what does that sound like? That might work a little bit. Yeah, it works. Okay, so minor pentatonic, you could also do the blues scale with that. So like adding that flat 5 in there. All right. So major pentatonic, as I said before, is and the blue version of that. Flat 7 in there. Now, as I said, playing the major pentatonic and you throw in that flat 7 in there, that's what I would call an easy mixolydian kind of sound. Now, this is a real common, this next one's a real common thing we can practice. It is the major pentatonic scale, minor pentatonic scale, combination scale, which is like what I call the Chuck Berry scale. So your major pentatonic is... That's your major pentatonic. Your minor pentatonic is... You combine the two of those. Throw that blue note in there. So any combination of that kind of sound, that's like a major minor pentatonic combination. Jimi Hendrix with tons of people, Van Halen, Clapton, all the guys, all the Chuck Berry, obviously. Now, the next thing we can do is we can think in terms like, say we don't want to, we like, we can think in terms of like the mother forms. Like, okay, so G mixolydian, parent scale system says any other scale that like the C major scale is the same as G mixolydian. The D Dorian scale is the same as mixolydian. If I want to play any other scale has the same exact notes as G mixolydian, I can play over top of this. So it's obvious because it's the same notes, but if you're more comfortable with certain fingerings, like I like this fingering. Okay, you can throw in, as I said, the parent scale. Like the parent scale is C major. You have your D Dorian. You have all those other scales. G mixolydian is the same as A natural minor. So this is a concept that I legitimized. I didn't legitimize, but Pat Martino legitimized it for me because he likes to think in terms of minor forms, even when he's playing over dominant chords. So how does he do that? He'll play D Dorian in like a D minor. It all sounds, I'm thinking D minor over top of that. That's Pat Martino. That's lots of people. Guthrie Trapp. That's Miles Davis. That's John Coltrane. It's tons of people. Anyway, so next thing, ways of getting into the mixolydian scale. Sideways, another sideways thing is just by playing other triads over top of it. So instead of playing the G, all the G7 stuff, say I want to play a D minor. If I play a D minor, which is your 5 minor arpeggios in lines, or your flat 7, which is your F major 7 arpeggios, you play that kind of stuff and it'll get you G7. It'll get you really cool G7 stuff happening. Just listen to it. Listen to it. F major 7. Those are triads. I like that. That's Jeff Beck. Anyway, so D minor arpeggio. And lines reflect, and lines that use that. F major 7, even A minor. Really, A minor works really well as well. All right. So that's a sideway. It's still mixolydian, but it's not. We're not thinking in terms of scales. Okay, so now, next thing, this is drawing from a little bit of like bebop kind of stuff. Okay, what bebop guys used a lot of the times is they used a things called scale called the bebop scale. So basically, what it is that scale. So throwing that thing in. within your major scale, you throw in that flat 7 along with the 7, and it is at those half steps, consecutive half steps. That's the bebop scale. And then there's all that, you combine that with the triads we already. A B diminished, minor 7 flat 5, I should say. Just arpeggios. All right. Next is what I call the Charlie Christian tone set. It's also the Miles Davis tone set. Any kind of combination of that, I learned from Miles Davis like 20, 30 years ago. His use of chromaticism. It's cool. It's completely usable. Now, where do you go with all this? Learn it all over the fingerboard. Practice. Get some jam tracks together. You can practice. You can put a jam track together and just try to get some of the melodies together. And sometimes when you're practicing, what you also got to think and keep in mind is sometimes it's meant to be a little awkward. If we only stay with it isn't awkward, okay. We're only going to play the easy stuff. So I'm going to leave you with one more scale little sound, one more little sound that we can add to this, that was and continues to be a little bit of awkwardness for me. It is the D over top of a G7 chord. It is the D melodic minor, and really what it is the Dorian scale with that C sharp in there. Okay, that's how I can look at it. All right, so that gives me a note and an interval. All I have to do is just I like that sound. That sound is, I like it. It works perfectly over a G7 chord. Listen to guys, listen to Joe Pass, listen to Jeff Beck, listen to all different kinds of players that use it, Grateful Dead. Listen to Jazz is Dead, Jimmy Herring. That's a band that nobody talks about anymore, but they were a fusion band that did Grateful Dead, but their guitars were in tune. And they weren't compromised. They weren't stoned. Well, maybe they were. I don't know. But anyway, it was really high quality improvisation, top fusion musicians, just blowing over Dead tunes, and it was wonderful. Jimmy Herring is a guitar player now with Widespread Panic. Just listen to great players and how do they put this stuff together and put it into your playing. Get some songs together, go out, play, inspire, practice, shed, into shed. See you next time. Hi, this is Rod from Boomer Guitar Sessions. I personally wanted to thank you for being part of our community. If you like what we're doing here and you want to see more of it, please hit the like, subscribe, and share. And this helps me spread my musical messages to all over the world. Thank you. I appreciate you, and always remember, you can do this.